Hello everyone, today's August 25th, 2010, and I wanted to talk today about China. We got to keep our eye on China if we're going to be able to weather the storm that's coming. The U.S. is putting its faith in paper money, and China's going for the gold. In the last 20 years, China's increased their gold holdings by 30 times. It used to be illegal to own gold in China, just handful of years, 4 or 5 years ago, and now they're encouraging with commercials for their citizens to buy gold, put at least 5% of their savings into gold, and they're trying to make it easier for them by having the banks come up with gold savings accounts and gold-backed securities that they can buy, rather than standing 4 hours in line to get some physical, because sometimes it's not easy for them to get. So while they're going for the gold and we're putting our faith in paper, we're just printing up more dollars. Now, if the yuan happened to take over the US dollar as a reserve currency, you can imagine the flood of dollars that would come back from, say, Japan, which has about 800 billion US dollars in their foreign reserves, and the 844 billion that China has, and then other countries that have US dollars. If they all started pouring back in here, dollars would be everywhere. The prices would go sky high. So, we got to keep our eye on China and look at what they're doing. Now with the dollar, last week, even with the euro's problems that it's had this year, China's saying that the euro is a better option for them than the US dollar now. China has also, last year in 2009, came out and said that they increased their gold holdings up to 1,054 tons. That's 76% increase from 2003 to 2009. And we don't know what they've done since then. They don't openly come out because they own so many US dollars. They don't want to say what they're doing with gold, because that would make a lot of people question what they're doing. So, they don't just come out and say, well, we're buying all this gold. But I'm sure that's gone up another couple hundred tons. They're not going to state it. Eventually, they'll come out with it at some point. But it's done in secrecy, and that's probably their best option at this point. Another interesting thing that I came across was, according to the World Gold Council, the private citizens in the People's Republic of China, between January 2008 and June 2010, that 30-month span, private citizens accumulated over 1,054 tons, which is the entire Federal Reserve holdings for the country of China. So that's a huge amount of gold that they've been purchasing. Once they were just let off the leash from being illegal to hold gold, they've been going gangbusters accumulating gold. Now, that's why I mentioned maybe the yuan overtaking the US dollar as a reserve currency, because they're actually going to have a currency backed by something. We supposedly have 8,000 tons, 8 times the amount of gold that China has. It hasn't been audited in 50 years. So we don't even really know what we have. They've probably leased that all out, and maybe not even half of it's even there. But why don't we just have an audit so that we know what's there? No, we've got to keep that under wraps. We don't really want the people of this country to really know what's happening. So as we keep an eye on China and try to see what they're doing with gold, we can keep looking at what's happening with their dumping of the dollar. The U.S. Treasury just came out on August 16th and said that they dumped another 24 billion US dollars. And this is coming after February dumping 34 billion US dollars. So they used to be the number one US holder of debt by 100 billion over Japan. That's shrunk now to about 40 billion over Japan. So, Japan may retake them as the largest US debt holder. So far this year, they've bought about $3 billion in Korean reserves, and about 20 billion in Japanese reserves. So they're taking the money out of the US dollar and they're putting it into other currencies, and they're putting it into gold. So, that may not be a bad idea for you. But at least, if you're not going to mess around with other currencies, you have to have physical metals. And I'm sure mostly all the people watching this channel already know that. But, looking at what's happening in China just reassures what we already know, and helps us feel better about what we're doing while we're trying to set ourselves up for the storm that's coming, that we're being dealt by our government and our Federal Reserve. So that's it for now.